And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, September 19th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Tuesday morning, and we are glad to have you with us, and glad to be on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is here as usual on this particular Tuesday. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Glad to see you. Tracy, of course, Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, who brings a guest with her each time, and I'll let you introduce the guest, but you may have something you want to say prior to that.
Yes. You know, Vanderbilt, we continue to bring services closer to home, and I just have to start out by saying what a staple Dr. John Tate has been in our community for 25 plus years. He's been here serving our children, our adults for ear, nose, and throat services, and upon his retirement, which should be the end of this month, Vanderbilt is planning ahead and bringing general ENT and specialty ENT to our community. So we had Dr. Melanie Hicks on the radio with us just a few weeks ago. She's in the Lebanon office for Vanderbilt Ear, Nose, and Throat. And this morning we have Dr. Mark Feely with Vanderbilt Ear, Nose, and Throat, general otolaryngology.
Well, we are glad to, let me just say welcome, Dr. Feely.
Thank you, Coleman.
We're glad to have you with us today, and we'll find out a lot about you. Now, anything else you want to say about him?
I think that's it. He's going to introduce himself.
All right. We want to know about you. So you are ear, nose, and throat, which we'll get into later. But where did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan, just outside of Detroit.
Well, we've already talked a little sports this morning. It's Big Ten versus SEC in college football. I guess it's the Tigers against the Braves or somebody in baseball.
That's true.
You like sports, I think, from what little I've talked with you so far. You're kind of a sports guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in Michigan?
Really enjoyed it. Very nice. I grew up outside of Detroit in a rural community, much like Lebanon and stuff, so it's very reflective of home and stuff.
I guess you were up there where they make a lot of cars.
Yes, sir.
and there still are when they're not on strike.
Exactly.
Oh, I hope they get that settled soon. But anyway, that's another thing. At what point in your life did you decide you wanted to get in a medical profession?
Well, it's a good story. I was in college going to getting my bachelor's in hotel restaurant management and actually got my nose broken.
Well, how'd that happen?
Over a girl.
Well, it looks like you got it repaired over there.
Yeah, I see it healed. So actually, I saw an ENT doctor afterwards, and everything was fine. Didn't have to have anything done, but it was just like, oh, okay, this is interesting, and met the person and got to know them and followed their practice and really fell into love with medicine.
Well, I've not heard a story exactly like that.
I have not
before.
either.
I think you have a unique story.
That's very true.
Where did you go to college?
Michigan State.
Okay, So you're a Spartan through and through.
Yes, sir.
Do the Michigan State people hate Michigan as much as some of, let's say, Alabama hates Auburn?
I think it's very much the same. In-state rivals.
But you're quite a sports guy.
Yes, sir.
Like
yes.
Okay. Well, tell us about your experience once you got into the going to medical school. Where was that?
I went to school in Detroit at Wayne State University in medical school.
And how 4 years, 8 years?
4 years. And then after graduated, Indiana University in Indianapolis for a residency to do the ENT training or the internship and residency, which was 5 years. So.
And this particular thing, was this your idea all along, ear, nose, and throat?
Pretty much. I looked at other medical professions in medical school, in college, and really fell in love with ENT.
Well, what brought you south?
I think mainly, family. We have I was in northern Michigan for 18 years, but there's a lot less ice fishing in Tennessee, so.
We hear that a lot. Although sometimes it can get pretty cold.
Which is fine,
too.
yeah. So, but if it was just 10 different ways, in my life were changing, and this was the perfect decision. And really, working for Vanderbilt this job is what I was interested in more than anything else.
You have family you want to talk about a little bit?
Sure, yeah. I've been married over 25 years. I've got 3 kids, and 2 are in college in Indiana, so they're getting closer than Tennessee. So,
how long have you actually been here?
I've been here since August.
In Nashville.
Yes, sir.
And now we need to find out about your office right here in Lebanon right now. As of when? When did you get in this office?
This office I started 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Seeing patients.
So you're brand new here.
Yes, sir.
At
Yes.
206A Babb Drive?
Yes, sir. It's a Wilson County Hospital just across from the ER. We're a little building out in front.
Okay. What type, what age of patients do you see?
I think as you've met some of my colleagues, I think pretty much general ENT sees everything, any age.
And any problem with ear, nose, and throat, pretty much?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're a place to start off with that we take care of just about everything. And, if we need help or if there's more complex problems, we can always recruit in our colleagues that you've met previously.
Are you taking new patients?
Yes, sir.
So if somebody needs to see an ear, nose, and throat specialist, then it wouldn't be, as you're just getting started, I've only been here 2 weeks, I would say you could get seen pretty quick.
Exactly. So it's building up. It was surprising. The first week we took a little light just to get used to the flow, and this week's been much better and stuff. So it's picking up pretty quick.
Well, hopefully we'll help spread the word here this morning, and if nothing else, you can talk sports with your patients.
That sounds good. Thank you. Yes.
But that's not why people come to see an ear, nose, and throat specialist. That's kind of an aside, but it is nice to have something else to talk about. Sports, family, maybe not politics, but you're probably not immune to that.
Exactly.
Well, let's get into the more specific here. You treat a wide array of diseases. You offer comprehensive care, but what about chronic ear disease and ear infections?
Well, I think a lot of people, especially, with the humidity down in this area, a lot of people have a lot of ear infections, which we definitely can help out, treat with antibiotics or even ear drops or surgery if needed. So it's a wide variety of stuff we can treat.
Well, is an ear infection necessarily an ear disease?
It's basically whatever long-term or short-term is how you're going to define it. But yes, I would say any kind of infection in the ear, problem with the ear would be an ear disease.
The causes of these infections, I guess it's a wide range of causes.
You can have different problems like, just water exposure, like swimmer's ear. You can have, a lot of the kids have recurrent ear infections just because their ears don't drain right or correctly. You could also have, things like hearing loss or tinnitus is some other things we treat in the ear spectrum. But I think those are the main causes.
What would be a more chronic ear disease or infection?
I think it's similar. There's a disease called cholesteatoma, which is like a cyst of the inner ear that can sit there and cause chronic infection and destroy hearing over time.
How do you deal with that?
Most of the time, it's surgically remove the cyst and clean it up to prevent infection. So that would be the best idea is to surgically intervene with that.
Well, now, do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You. Mm-hmm. You have to know a lot about anatomy, obviously, mm-hmm. to be a doctor. But then when you specialize, in your case, ear, nose, and throat, you've got to know a lot about an ear before you're able to successfully do surgery and this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. How long does it take you to learn that and to kind of get adjusted and be comfortable? I mean, I guess our sight's one of the most important things, but being able to hear is very, very important as well. And you're dealing with somebody's hearing, and you sure want them to be better when you get through, or at least not worse than when you started.
Yes.
So that you got to know what you're doing.
Exactly. So after completing medical school, there's 5 years of residency, which is essentially keeps us, trains us specifically in ENT problems across the board. And even afterwards, I even to this day, you have to be a lifelong learner to keep up on the progress and information and treatments and diseases that are available to patients.
All right. Well, one other thing about the ear infections. You probably see a lot of them where maybe some medication is given, that knocks it out, and that's it. Hopefully that is that pretty common?
I'd say probably 95% of the time we can treat things medically. But definitely, I think the advantage of seeing ENT doctors is on top of the medical treatment, we actually have the ability to do surgery if we need to.
All right. And surgery would be kind of more of a last resort if you can treat it otherwise, I'd say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, it's time for us to take a break. With us, Dr. Mark Feely, Vanderbilt Ear, Nose, and Throat, along with Tracy Pope, here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's go ahead and see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bates Ford. Bates Ford, you can get a battery installed on most vehicles. It's $149.95. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. A little bit of fog out here in certain areas. Give yourself extra time. It is really heavy now out of Rutherford County on 24 westbound at Pike Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway. Quite crowded trying to get through Hermitage right now with that volume of traffic on 40 going westbound. They moved that wreck pretty quickly there at Central Pike and 40 westbound. And watch for some radar on I-40 out in Dixon County. Hey, bring the whole family to enjoy Smoky Mountain Fall Festival at Oberg-Gatlinburg. Kicks off September 29th. Check it out at oberg-gatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
This is Billy Farrell. I'm wanting to wish a happy anniversary to WANT on their 30th anniversary.
Hi, this is Laura Smith from Wilson Bank and Trust. Happy birthday to WANT 98.9. Hope you have 30 great more.
This is Billy Goodman. Happy birthday to WANT Radio.
This is Tim Hit, the Hitman from the Saturday Morning Show, thanking all our listeners for making WANT part of their day for 30 years. Happy anniversary to WANT FM 98.9.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
We continue here on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us. Hospital. Dr. Mark Feely was with us this morning along with Tracy Pope. Dr. Feely, Vanderbilt Ear, Nose, and Throat, and has been here in 2 weeks. We found out that he came from Michigan and is very happy to be here and got this office already going. Second week was a lot busier than the first week, and you're looking for new patients.
Yes, perfect.
All right. So we have talked about chronic ear disease and ear infections. Let's talk about chronic sinus infections, the causes and treatment options, because and the ear and nose. I mean, they're close to each other. Obviously, there's some connections. You got to know a little bit about both to do either one, I think.
Exactly.
But what about chronic sinus infections? Causes, treatments. That's a lot to talk about, really.
Well, I think the basic problem is the sinuses kind of drain into the nose through a very small slit, a millimeter or two in size. So any kind of inflammation blocks off the sinuses, and then mucus gets stuck behind that gets infected. So we talk about allergies, environmental pollution in the air, colds, bacterial infections, allergies. Any number of things can cause it and trigger it.
Well, how are they usually treated? Your diagnosis is pretty important here, isn't it?
Exactly. So you know how to treat it.
What are some of the treatments?
I think, a variety of things that people are common or familiar with, like the nose sprays over the counter or antihistamines over the counter. Definitely with infections, if it's bad enough, we can treat it with antibiotics for short or long courses. Allergy evaluation and testing is a possibility. We can do x-rays or CAT scans looking at the sinuses as a fancy x-ray, and even surgery, a limited amount of surgery in the office all the way to, general anesthesia, sleep in the operating rooms.
Well, I guess a lot of it just really depends on the situation there. But as far as causes go, is anything people can do to prevent some of these from happening?
I think the biggest thing is there's saline rinses that you can actually do that's been very helpful to kind of clear the nose out and kind of get rid of the mucus and all the stuff you kind of breathe in. If you think of your nose as like an air filter, gets gummed up or kind of clogged up, the saline rinses really help out with that.
So a lot of the problems then come from breathing in, I take it.
Yes, sir.
But everybody was wearing a mask just about 2 or 3 years ago. Does that help in this situation?
I think sometimes it does. Obviously it's a controversial topic, but it does help out, especially people that are doing more lawn mowing or kind of bigger exposures and stuff like that. You'll see that commonly.
And what about connection with ear infection and sinus infection? There is sometimes, isn't it? Maybe you have both.
Exactly. The drainage tube from the ear goes to the back of the nose, so all the stuff that drains down in your throat blocks off the eustachian tube or the tube going to the ear, which can get be ear problems also or ear infections.
So how do you know which one to treat?
Well, that's a good question, and it depends. I think based on the severity of the symptoms, if you're having more ear problems, we'll normally address it, but sometimes you have to address both problems to really get the patient happy.
And is surgery? Sometimes you do surgery. We got. I know we're going to be talking about a deviated septum later on, but how common is surgery for some kind of chronic sinus infection?
I think probably the last resort, obviously, after we've kind of failed all the medical therapy. But I would probably say the majority of patients, let's say 95% that I see, we can treat medically and and resolve their problems or at least have them managed.
Is there a time frame? Does it usually take 2 or 3 days, a week, 2 or 3 weeks? And I know it varies depending on the severity of the infection, this sort of thing. What would be average on that?
I would say probably within 3 to 4 weeks that we can get people corrected 100%, especially if they've had it for a long time or a chronic problem.
But we in the area we're here, and with the pollen in the air in the spring and fall and so on, it's I guess spring and fall might be worse times for some of these.
Exactly, and especially with cold and flu season around the corner, that's the other time we see a lot of people with sinus infections.
Okay. Again, we're talking with Dr. Mark Feely. He's only been here for 2 weeks at Vanderbilt Ear, Nose, and Throat, and located at 206A Babb Drive. We want to talk about tonsil infections now, and that's something that we hear a lot about. I don't know how prevalent this is, but there was a time a few years ago when it was almost normal for somebody just to have their tonsils removed when they were a child. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think, definitely things have changed. I think we're much more conservative and we've learned a lot more of how to treat them, and we have got better treatments before jumping to surgery. And essentially, being a general ENT doctor, we kind of treat all ages. And so typically a lot of the kids, let's say 10 and under, their immune system isn't 100% functional yet to prevent infections, and they haven't been exposed to a lot of that. So when you go from being outside to inside, especially when school starts, a lot of those kids are exposed to a lot more infections, and we get a lot of sore throats that are very common and frequent in kids.
Normally antibiotic or something of that nature?
Yeah. And most of the time, based on the severity of it, you treat them with antibiotics and they'll resolve and stuff like that. But, you'll have a lot of kids that'll have like 6, 8 infections or strep throats in a year that need antibiotics that we definitely start talking about. We should take out the tonsils.
At what point is that normally done?
I think, after 6 or 8 infections in a year period, where, kids missed 3 or 4 weeks of school and it's really impacting their quality of life. And the families also.
Apparently, the tonsils are not all that important, at least for survival, because a lot of people have had their tonsils removed and done okay. But what's your opinion on that?
I think it's fine. Everybody's looked at it, and I think there's enough extra tissue in your mouth that does the same thing, like helps you start fighting infections with bacteria or viruses. That taking them out in a young infant and stuff has really no long impact on them.
Okay, I mentioned the deviated septum, and that has to do with your nose, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is a deviated septum?
Essentially, the septum is the bone that splits your nose down to the middle into the right and left halves. And everybody has a little bit of deviated septum, but when it gets severe enough, either you broke it or kind of been born with it, that you can't breathe through one side of your nose.
So then breathing has a lot to do with this. If you're having difficulty breathing through your nose, then you're going to take a look at that, and the deviated septum might be the problem.
Exactly. So, if people say I can't breathe through my nose, it's very frustrating to them. That's when we definitely get involved and help out.
Okay, so the treatment options for that, I'm sure one of them is surgery, but can you do something for that prior to surgery?
Sure. Essentially the best way
or
to
maybe in place and avoid surgery. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Essentially, there's bones on the side of the nose called turbinates that'll swell up and down. And if you think about the septum as being a warped board, the turbinates swelling up and down, we can work on those medically with antihistamines or nose sprays to kind of cut down inflammation to open up people's noses.
How often do you have someone with a deviated septum?
I think probably once or twice a week. It's a very common disorder that not a whole lot of people talk about. There's nothing really exciting about it other than you can't breathe through your nose.
Right. Well, it's what percentage would you say that surgery's involved?
I think based on, I've got a lot of patients that have a horribly deviated septum that it never bothers them, and I've got other people who are just begging to have stuff done right away. So I would, probably in the long term, 20% of people say, hey, I really want to have something done. We can actually help them out surgically.
Is that pretty uncomfortable afterwards?
I tell people it's definitely miserable for a week. But after that, we clean out the nose, and they can breathe the rest of their lives, and it's a fixed problem.
And they live happy ever after.
Exactly.
At least as far as that goes. All right. Well, help us understand dizziness, balance problems, and fainting, and how all of this can work together. Vertigo, treatments, options. That's another program almost there, I guess. But summarize that for us.
I think the two different things. I think dizziness is kind of an all-encompassing term that essentially means off balance, and then vertigo specifically is spinning, which normally comes from the inner ear. And the most common type is where there's little calcium crystals that get knocked off in the inner ear fluid. So when you roll over or turn suddenly, you'll get vertigo or spinning for a few seconds.
All right. How do you treat if somebody's just that has dizziness? Mm-hmm. Is there a particular treatment for that?
Yeah.
Are you probably looking for the cause, obviously, but...
Exactly. We have a huge variety of options, over-the-counter medicines or prescription medicines to physical therapy, to different types of surgery as the last resort that we can do it for it. But probably the huge majority of people we can treat medically and get them much more functional, that they don't have to worry about walking or turning or trying to function in life.
Okay, where does fainting fit into all of that?
There's some of the diseases of dizziness or vertigo can get severe enough that you can actually black out from it and stuff, and it's very obviously impactful. I mean, if you're blacking out from dizziness.
All right, what is vertigo?
Vertigo is spinning sensation. It feels like you're spinning like on a merry-go-round.
Okay, so all that kind of goes together, I guess. Then, what's the worst case scenario as far as treatment goes?
I think the worst case treatment is you can actually have pretty significant vertigo. That's you can't work, you can't really function, you can't drive. And surgery is kind of the last resort, but those are definitely people that we can actually help out a lot and get much more functional.
What's the surgery? What are you operating on?
We're trying to theoretically, one of the situations, we're trying to drain fluid off the inner ear to prevent, it's like an inner tube that gets distended. And if the inner tube breaks and the two fluids mix, you get vertigo. So essentially, we're trying to lower the inner ear fluid pressure.
All right, I tell you what, we've covered a lot of territory this morning, but all of this we've talked about, you specialize in. You welcome people with these problems to your new office here in Lebanon.
Yes, sir.
Which is located at 206A Babb Drive. You're right there at the hospital. Right?
Yep, just across from the ER.
Okay. All right, Dr. Mark Feely, really new, only 2 weeks here in town. And Tracy, we got a minute left here this morning. You gave me a lot of good information for us to talk about.
Yes, and as I'm sitting here listening to Dr. Feely, I'm reminded that Vanderbilt and our hospital, we continue to recruit and bring services to Wilson County. And like Dr. Feely, he is a general ear, nose, and throat physician. And so he was recruited here to be full-time in Wilson County. He has moved to Wilson County. He lives here in Wilson County. And then we have other specialties that really don't warrant a 5-day-a-week calendar or patients that they will see. So they might come here 1 day a week because their specialty is so specific. So that is really the purpose and Vanderbilt's goal is to bring those basic services like ENT, orthopedics, urology, here to Wilson County full-time to be available for the residents of Wilson County and surrounding communities. And then we have those specialty services that are here maybe 1 day a week. So patients don't have to go into Nashville and don't have to drive into Nashville and fight the traffic for those services. So that's a little bit about how the recruiting works. And, upon Dr. Feely and the other physicians that have joined his practice, we are going to be having a ribbon cutting open house on Monday, November the 6th at 11:30 in their office. I'll be on the radio a few more times before that date, so I will remind everyone. But we're excited that our Lebanon and Mount Juliet chambers are joining us together to support our ribbon cuttings, open houses, and services that Vanderbilt continues to bring to Wilson County.
All right, well, that's something no doubt, Dr. Feely, you really look forward to and meet a lot more people as a result. Thank you for being with us this morning. We've enjoyed it. Wish you well. Tracy, thanks again for all you do and another good program brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. That's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota High Performance. High horsepower, 0% financing is still a thing. Now is the best time to save on new Kubota L-Series tractors, rated #1 for durability and owner experience in the U.S. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still a lot of traffic volume trying to get through Hermitage right now at 40 westbound, coming past Central Pike. Still some fog out here in certain areas. Allow yourself extra time. It's pretty crowded now on 24 westbound at Bell Road, Hickory Hollow Parkway. All that heavy traffic still coming in from Rutherford County, Murfreesboro towards Nashville. It's pretty saturated on Vietnam Vets westbound from Gallatin Pike as you continue all the way towards Conference Drive. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken will have 4 locations open within the next 30 days. They are hiring. Check out their website at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Where a patient starts their cancer care matters. And here, that means Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, Wilson County. It's Vanderbilt-level care without making the drive to Nashville. From screening to diagnosis to treatment and recovery, patients can get all the care they need right here close to home. So now, having the best care team and most advanced treatment is closer than ever. Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center, making cancer care personal.
Lauren Massetti here, singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm so excited to be a part of the second annual Sips and Sounds of September on September 28th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Rural Hill Farm in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I hope you'll join us for great food, great sips, and great sounds. All proceeds will benefit Wilson Rides, a local nonprofit organization that provides transportation for senior citizens who no longer drive. Tickets are on sale right now at eventbrite.com or wilsonridesinc.org.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem. the new degree of comfort.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Partly sunny skies for your forecast for today, warming up to a high of around 91. Tonight, partly cloudy, that low back down to around 66. Mostly sunny and 92 on Wednesday. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm Stormy Clausen.
We continue here on Tuesday morning talking We're ready to talk to Sean Dozier, Hearthside Senior Living. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
Always good to have you. Good to
Well,
see
it's always
you.
good to be here. Before I get started, I got a text at 5:30 this morning from Gaylyn Wilson. She said, if you're on Coleman this morning, be sure to remind everybody that at 9:05, that's right, 9:05 on 98.9, Lauren, it's pronounced like spaghetti, but it's Massetti. Lauren Massetti Music will be on with MJ to talk about Sips and Sounds, which is coming up next week. So if you haven't purchased your tickets, you can Google it, but it's next Thursday, and I'm looking forward to going to that. So, several on that board, Coleman, I get to see firsthand how great Wilson Rides is. We, even some of our residents have taken advantage of it. It's for seniors who can't, who don't have transportation services. So just encourage everybody, if they want to, come out next Thursday to support Wilson Rides. So I got that in. So now I want to talk about Hearthside.
Yes.
I got to do something yesterday, Coleman, that I haven't got to do in a long time.
What would that be?
Well, I got to call a couple who have been waiting 3 years to get one of our homes.
Oh.
And one of our independent living homes, our 3-bedroom homes. And, they wouldn't mind me saying this, but Clayton and Robbie Gray passed away over the last couple years. Actually, Robbie passed away
just recently.
Yeah, just recently. Yeah. She worked in the Wilson County Courthouse, the old Wilson County Courthouse, for many, many years. And I went to her funeral last Friday, but one of her relatives was actually on the list. So I got to call them, and they were so thrilled, of course, under the circumstances, but they were thrilled to get that call. So I met with them yesterday at 1:30. I went through all the contract, went through the pieces of it, and after we got through, they said, you really must love what you do. And I said, I absolutely do. It's a great opportunity to call people and to invite people to come to Hearthside. And they have been waiting 3 years, just like the Grays. The Grays used to drive up there and see me, just drive up, hey, get a home. No, not yet. They finally got in. These people have done the same thing. They contacted me, for the last 3 years, just checking in. And so we got to sit down yesterday at 1:30, and I told them to pray about it, think about it. No pressure. I just have 30 more people that want it. But no, I didn't say that. I should have, but I didn't. But they're gonna come back Thursday at 1:30 and sign the contract.
Yeah, you're pretty sure they're decision.
I'm pretty sure, but it was great to do that. And of course, those homes, those 2- and 3-bedroom homes, we've been doing that since 2010, and continue to be very popular and continue to be a great service to people. We're having a get-together Thursday, and Maribel's going to speak to our residents, and we're going to be able to fellowship. We use that clubhouse a lot to get together. So it's just a great community, a lot of great people. It's got a lot of great people that'll be there in the future. But I was excited to do that yesterday because I haven't got to do that in quite a while.
Well, great to hear another success story. And but the fact that you've got such a waiting list and people are just wanting to be there and can't, but until the time till an opening.
Yeah, we continue to communicate with them and continue to sometimes plans change. So I tell them to have a plan B or plan C, and they absolutely do. And I've got 30 homes, and I got 3 2-bedroom homes and 27 3-bedroom homes, and obviously the 3-bedrooms come available more than the 2-bedrooms, but it's always great to make that call. And the assisted living, changing over to the assisted living, we've got 3 3 residents moving in over the next 2 weeks, and we're full. We just got to wait for those 3 to get there. But all of our rooms are taken, and we continue to wait on our state survey. You know, we haven't had a state survey in a year and a half, so we usually have one every year, and they haven't showed up yet. So we're waiting to see how we do this year. Last year we had no deficiencies, so we're hoping to pull that off again. It's just, it depends on the mood of the surveyor, Coleman. Just depends on
maybe
if they walk
doing such a good job that we can put them off.
maybe that's it. Maybe they'll come next year, but who knows when they'll show up. But it's going well, and the assisted living is doing well. We had Assisted Living Week, National Assisted Living Week last week, and we celebrated and had a great time. Actually, I usually don't do this, but I called Super Bingo last week. So I went to Sam's and got some great prizes, and they all enjoyed being a part of that. And we had some entertainment and some caterer, Jordan's Caterer came to serve us on Thursday night. So we had a great time last week, and so everything's going well. I just encourage everybody, if you're thinking about assisted living or you're thinking about independent living, Hearthside Senior Living is a great place to check out.
All right, and right here in the heart of town at 215 Castle Heights Avenue North.
Best real estate in town.
All right. Well, we're ready for a Hearthside Help.
Well, Linda Partlow yesterday sent me a text, and she became a great grandmother again, I think for the 4th time. So I wanted to say hello to Linda Partlow. Congratulations to her grandchildren for having, those Partlows, they just keep spitting them out. So congratulations to Linda Partlow and all of her family.
All right. Well, John Dozier, thanks so much for being with us this morning. You make our Tuesdays more enjoyable, and
thank you.
It's always good to hear the good news from Hearthside.
I attended an event last week. Mike put on a 9/11 event, and it was great. It was I was in the back, but it was fantastic. I really
He's referring to Mike Jennings, my next guest here, mayor at Watertown.
That's right.
This was in Watertown, right?
It was. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. John Dozier, Hearthside Senior Living, 615-443-1994. About 20 minutes before the hour, Mike Jennings is with us. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Coleman. I appreciate him saying that. We did have a nice ceremony. Mayor Bell spoke. Mayor Hutto participated, as always. I'm sorry I didn't see Sean back there. We had a really good crowd. And
you're the only one that's done that this year?
As far as I know, and I think we're the only one that's done it from year one. And I challenged the young people there that day. I said, every year we get past this event, the people that witnessed it, for lack of a better term, are dying out.
Yeah.
There's more people coming on that weren't here when it happened. And I said, you folks need to step in the gap and keep your remembrances alive.
And yeah, you just want people not to forget.
That's right.
We have never forgotten Pearl Harbor.
We haven't.
And hopefully we won't forget 9/11.
Hopefully we won't, and hopefully it'll be the last one we have to remember.
Well, I know that you didn't have the greatest weekend.
No, I had a good weekend. Ball game wasn't so good, but
You've already been nice to MJ this morning.
I paid homage to one of my Florida friends and bowed down to her. Yeah. Yeah. Did I say she wasn't nice?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't understand what I meant, but anyway.
Yeah. No, I acknowledge, they took us to the woodshed the first half, and then we dug such a deep hole. We played better the second half, but couldn't overcome it. So.
Well, you and Sean were both expressing your disappointment with that performance, and
yes,
it had been they'd played a lot better. Although against Austin Peay, it wasn't all that great. But considering the quality of the opposition, honestly, it's sort of like when Lebanon played Watertown one time, and who's supposed to win, and you know all that.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Well, UT was supposed to beat Austin Peay, so it's hard to get up for a game. So you sort of understood maybe a little letdown.
A little bit. Austin Peay played well.
Yeah.
And I thought they had an excellent game plan. And then what Sean and I were referring to is we went to Florida, and for little over 2 years now, we've been throwing the ball all over the lot, running the play every 9, 10, 11 seconds, just as quick as we can get back. And we didn't do that down there. And we looked like, frankly, we ran the type of offense the Titans ran. We took 40 seconds, and then we handed the ball off. And I thought, that's not us. And I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Well, what kind of rebound do you expect?
I think they'll rebound. I think it maybe reality's beginning to set in that this team this year may not be as good as last year's team. I thought they would be, and they may still prove me wrong, but from what I've seen, we started off slowly against Virginia in Nashville. It was up in the second quarter before we started moving the ball pretty efficiently. So they got some work to do. And our line's not as good. We lost a tackle, first-round draft pick, and we lost a wide receiver as a first-round draft pick, and so they're so far been hard to replace.
Well, maybe it's so easy to get your great expectations way up here, and you, we're good, and now, hey, we're in the top 10. Where were you? Number 7 or?
Well, we were up as high as 9, and now we're down to 23 and 25. And, you get your, when you go to 11-2 last year, there's not many places left to go but down. But your expectation level's so high that you think, hey, we'll just pick right back up where we were.
Well, you haven't given up, and you're not ready to
find no, I'm ready to play. We were flying back early Sunday morning. I got about 3 hours sleep. But I remember thinking half the football teams in America, their fans this morning are upset because they lost.
Yeah.
Some of them that won are upset. The Alabama and the Georgia people weren't happy because they felt like they should have won bigger. So they're not happy. So there's not many teams that are just really happy on a weekend.
You put something on Facebook about some of the Florida fans, and I think you're right. I mean, whoever displays that sort of conduct or whatever is not good, and too much of that is happening in sport.
Too much of that is happening in Coleman. When you see that, you realize now why they have soccer rights in the Atlantic and across the water into Europe. Those people get so riled up, and all of a sudden you've got crashing the gate and fighting, and we're not too far away from that, and that's kind of scary to me. It's scary to me at my age, but taking a child in there, is the other night the atmosphere was great for them. They were fired up, nothing wrong with that, and then it got to be ugly. Dr. Jim Duncan sent me a message last night and told me that the Gainesville paper reported they took 45 people out of the stadium during that game, and he said that the paper reported that's 3 times as many on a normal game. 15's too many, but 45. But of course, one of them was ours. Some idiot down there ran across the field. That wasn't going to end well for him, and it didn't. I've kept my glasses on. It didn't end well for him.
I'll tell you what, you big orange people just going to have to quit riling them up so bad.
Well, they gotta be licking their chops when we come to town, because we hadn't won down there in a long time, and it wasn't good this time either.
We got to talk county commission, go to a break in a moment, but what any big thing out of last night?
Probably the biggest thing last night was committee elections, budget committee and finance.
All right, well, you got all that for us?
Hope so.
Oh, yeah. Good. We'll talk about that when we come back. A break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, regular oil change $39.95 up to 5 quarts of oil, tax and disposal, $16.73 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
In Rutherford County on that ramp as you come off I-24 onto Salem Pike. We still see that accident, Whites Creek Pike, right at I-24. It's really slow through Hendersonville right now, westbound on Vietnam Vets from Gallatin Pike all the way up to Conference Drive. Still a lot of traffic still trying to get in right now from Rutherford County on 24 up by Bell Road, and also on I-40 and Hermitage. All that traffic behind it there coming in from Wilson County. Hey, the whole family will enjoy Smoky Mountain Fall Festival at Ober-Gatlinburg. Starts September 29th. Check it out at Obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey y'all, this is Corey with the CDOC Boys, and we want to wish WANT a happy 30th anniversary.
Terry McPeak with the Wilson County Tennessee State Fair, wishing WANT Real Country a happy 30th anniversary.
Hey, it's MJ from the morning show of WANT FM 98.9. First, I want to thank you, our listeners and friends. It's because of you that WANT gets to celebrate our 30th anniversary. Thank you for that. Happy anniversary, WANT FM 98.9. Here's to 30 great years.
I'm Michael Starr, a licensed local insurance agent with Health Markets Insurance Agency in Lebanon, Tennessee. Choosing the right Medicare plan for you can be confusing. Let me help you find a plan that best fits your needs and budget. Call 615-830-4875 to speak with a licensed insurance agent for a free appointment, virtually, by phone, or in person, to review your specific needs and help find a plan that's right for you. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed in all states and D.C. Service and product availability varies. Agents may be compensated based on enrollment. No obligation to enroll.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. My thanks to Mike Jennings for being here. I don't know that I gave you a proper introduction this morning. You've been here from the very beginning, 30 years ago, almost.
Soon be in a week or so.
Yeah, that's right. We appreciate that. But Mike, of course, is the mayor of Watertown. But more important for his reason for being here once a month, he's the county attorney. And you've been coming and telling us about the county commission meetings for almost 30 years. Last night was an important night in that you had some committee appointments, and these people, there's some prestigious and important committee assignments that are made.
They are, and all money that's spent through the county, of course, has to be approved by the county commission, but it goes through the budget committee. So September is an election month. We elect budget committee and finance committee every September. Last night we returned the four, and I hope I've got this right, the four current members of our budget committee, Justin Smith, Diane Weathers, Wendell Marlowe, and Tommy Jones, were returned. We had a fifth candidate who would have been an excellent addition to it, Jeremy Rich, who missed out by a couple of votes. We had 24 people voting last night. We had one absent, so we were a potential of 96 votes, and I was just counting them. We had 96 votes exactly, so all 24 people voted for four people. Sometimes they'll single shot. If they want a guy or a girl in there, they'll just vote for that one, not vote for anybody else. Oh. But everybody voted, and then on the finance committee, and I'm not sure if we got any new members here or not. I was trying to think on the way in, but Kevin Costley got returned. Robert Fields, Beth Bowman, and Blake Hall got elected to the Finance Committee. Now, our Finance Committee, when we started years ago, handled all the finances. Mm-hmm. But the law allows you to split off a budget committee, and we did. So the Finance Committee now does more pretty much finance policy. So if we make a change in how we're going to do things financially, they'll be the committee to do it, but if it involves spending money, it goes through the budget committee. So, two key committees.
Were there some others?
We did the ethics committee. That's appointed every year. That's the mayor's appointment, and then we elected the mayor as commission chairperson. That happens every September, and Wendell Marlowe was elected chairman pro tem, chairperson pro tem.
Who had he held that?
Yeah, I think he had this last year. If it hadn't been, he had 2 years ago. I can't remember.
Mr. Hutto and I yesterday. Nearly always in the past, the county judge, county executive, or county mayor, all the way back, or all up till now, has been the presiding officer, except for
1 year.
Yeah. Okay. And so I was just saying, well, it's almost a given you're going to be there. Well, Randall Hutto doesn't take anything for granted. So
no.
So, but that's just almost a given that's going to happen.
And they didn't do it as noticeably last night as sometimes they do to me. But when it came time to nominate, everybody just kind of sat there, for just a couple of seconds, and then Jerry McFarland nominating Commissioner McFarland. But they just kind of made him squirm just a little bit. They've done me that way a time or two, and Ed Stafford used to be a champion at that. She'd look up and just kind of shake her head and then she'd go ahead and make the nomination.
Well, that's if the surprise would have been had he not been named.
And he does a good job moving the meeting along. In fact, we were out at 8:11 last night, and we had several things last night. It was a more typical September meeting, Coleman, in that, last month we had 28 resolutions. That was for August, but last night we had 9, and that was more, and they were across the board for Election Commission, Ag Center, WEMA had one, school system had one, so it's more normal.
Anything really controversial that's being addressed either now or about to be by the county commission?
Well, don't know about to be, but we had a resolution last night asking the state to require a Global Vision Church in Mount Juliet to comply with state statutes and regulations.
Well, what's going on there for those who I think I know a little, but there's a lot to this, I think.
Yeah, the county has sued them over some zoning violations. There's a lot of allegations about excessive noise. Well, we don't have a noise resolution, so we don't have any way to enforce that. But they had a conference there over the Labor Day weekend that brought in about 6,000 people into a very constricted area there, and we were on a conference call with state officials 3 days before that, talking about the things that hadn't been complied with, but no action was taken. So last night the commission unanimously, everyone signed it, asked the state to do what's supposed to be done. So we'll see where that goes.
What is you're talking about laws that are in place or regulations?
Fire marshal type stuff, that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that those regulations, restrictions, whatever, aren't being adhered to, I take it.
That's true, and certainly on the zoning, we've had several zoning and stormwater violations, and we gave some time to see what could be done there, and it didn't get done, so we filed suit. Tom Brashear did as director of codes.
Well, are the people in charge at the church there, are they trying to cooperate, can we say, or what's their attitude or opinion, or how have they responded to this criticism?
I can't really speak to that because I can't talk to them. They have attorneys, so attorneys have to talk to attorneys. Yeah. So let me just say, I don't think the issues have been dealt with as expeditiously as they could. And I will say to you that the things that the county is concerned about, outside of the noise, could have been resolved pretty quickly, we think. But they're still not. We first sat down and talked with one of their attorneys in January about this. Here we are in September, 3/4 of the way through a year, and it still hadn't been resolved. So that's going to be a story.
Their neighbors up in arms about this?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
What I'm told. Now, I get my information primarily from the commissioners who serve that district, and there's 2 or 3 that touch that area. And then Sheriff Ryan last night, he said I had to put about 15 officers down there on overtime over their holiday weekend when they ordinarily would not have worked. And he said, I'm fixing to send them a bill for what I had to do. So we'll see what happens there. And my understanding is the city of Mount Juliet sent them a bill for the officers they had to deploy.
Well, I guess we will say, as we do sometimes, stay tuned.
More to come, I think. Yeah.
All right. We've got about less than 3 minutes left this morning. Anything else from last night you want to tell everybody?
Always interested in hearing Director of Schools Jeff Luttrell talk about what's going on. Again, we're at 20,618 students. We're up 504 over last year. 96% attendance, and that's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said last night, with the people that just completed training, the people that are going through training and will be done shortly, if all of those stay and nobody leaves us, we'll have all bus routes covered and even have 2 or 3 drivers ready to substitute. So he said that's the first time since he can remember we'd have all routes covered.
That is good news.
That's very good news. And that helps with your attendance.
Yeah.
And the attendance, of course, generates money from the state. So it all kind of builds on itself. But the bus drivers are important.
96% is...
It's very good.
Yes.
It'll probably dip a little bit during flu season and that type of thing, but that's just phenomenal.
All right, minute and a half to talk about water tower.
Yeah, we got a meeting tonight. I don't know that we may have one zoning matter that probably will be a little controversial. But right now, I'm trying to get a handle on where we are on the sewer project, and we're waiting. We were told that we would hear this month about the Creasy grant, which we hope to get to fund the installation of the turntable. So we hope that comes down this month. And then...
what about your street paving?
Street paving, I got to do some work on that. And I need to talk to Steve Murphy about who I need to see to oversee that to make sure I can get the most bang for my buck.
Steve to the rescue.
Well, Steve don't want to do it, and I'm not going to ask him to, but I think he can guide me to talk to somebody.
Okay.
That's what because next street I pave will be my first. Like coaching football. Never coached a game of football in my life. So. But I'll come on and give you my opinion. Yeah.
But you feel like in time you're going to get some paving done?
Oh, we will get some paving done. The question is how much.
Yeah.
And every time the price of oil goes up, the fewer streets we can do. And that's frustrating.
I share your frustration.
Yeah, and we just gotta get some of those done, but we can talk it up, but some people are still going to be unhappy when it's over with because we're not going to have no money to pay them all.
All right. Who's the UT opponent this week?
University of Texas, San Antonio. And they are, my understanding is, are pretty good. They're
got your ticket yet?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go. Hope everything works out.
Thanks for being with us as always. Mike Jennings, County Attorney. That's it for a Tuesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.